Everybody, welcome to another episode of Between Two Friends. And today we have a special guest with us named Winnie Hart. Winnie is one of the founders of a very cool company called Twin Engines. So Winnie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome, Brian. I'm excited to be here.
Twin engines, I'm like, okay, it's got to do with airplanes. You have some airplane things in the back, but the twin is the biggest part of it. So tell me about that.
Yes, well, I am one of two. I work with my identical twin sister. So left brain, right brain, been in business for over 30 years. And our company is actually named after my dad, who, long story, but learned how to fly when we were little kids. And he taught us that you have to fly small planes before you fly big ones. And so we named our company after my dad.
That's really cool. So the thing that I like here is you're both twins. Well, obviously the name of the company is Twin Engines. So then now you've got, some airplane parts in the back. You were taught a lot of things about airplanes and how to fly by your father. And then analogies you use has to do with taking off on the runway. So you've got consistency or integrity around your branding, and the story makes sense to people. That's exactly what you do for others. It always kind of cracks me up when you have a brand agency that doesn't even have, their own branding consistent. Nevertheless, you guys have obviously had some success over 30 years. So tell us some of the things that you work on and what you do for your clients.
So lucky to be in a business that we love, right? Especially today. We had our best year ever last year because we were able to help companies really get in touch with who they are authentically. We helped a bunch of companies pivot. We launched a bunch of new brands, new products and services, and it's just such a phenomenal year. But Brett, the thing that really has helped us be successful for the last 30 years is that because we're identical twins, we can see ourselves outside of ourselves. So when someone comes to us, we really work to help reflect back to them who they really authentically are. I think a lot of brand agencies, create campaigns and create ideas centered around thoughts and big ideas, but really don't spend the time to really work on defining who an agency or an organization or a thought leader is from the inside out. And it's why we've been so successful over the last 30 years. So I really feel great about also the entrepreneurial side of things. I know you're an EO, I'm an EO, and my position on the global board gave me the opportunity to lead the organization in launching the new brand for EO this year. And I think that was a really great example of how businesses need to transform today to really get in touch with who they are and help other people understand that.
Yeah, so two things. One, it seems like, we all know the pandemic brought a lot of bad things, to society. But the good thing was that businesses really were forced to have the time to look at themselves and work on things that they hadn't been working on. Like, let's go back to square one and reanalyze what our company stands for, what our brand stands for. So I'm not that surprised. Maybe best year ever is a little surprising, but there were a lot of businesses that took some hits, but there were different industries which really skyrocketed, and a lot of online industries, obviously, which did very well. The second thing I want to mention is a lot of people think branding is just what visually, what everything looks like, but it's both. It's that, but it's the story and the content behind the brand brought to life, in my opinion, by the visuals, the look, the feel, the attitude. So it's not just, yes, like these are our 3 fonts and this is our color palette. Like that's to me kind of entry level branding. But when you take the entire approach, I'm guessing you have a process for helping your clients figure out what they stand for, right?
Yeah, so we have 2 books. The first one is called Stand Out, and I can ship these to anyone if they message Brett. Stand Out. It's about the 8 fundamentals of standing out in business, and it's, I think we all have like massive stacks of books in our offices, but I really wanted to develop a book that would be actionable. So there's 30 tools in the book that support each of those 8 fundamentals, and you can kind of do an assessment on where you are with each fundamental, like authenticity, strategy, mindset. and then work on tools to strengthen those. The second book, which just came out, it's called What Do You Stand For? And it's also a book that also includes maybe 60 different activities on helping companies define what they stand for. But you're right, Brett, about what is a brand? And it's not a logo. I think when I first launched the agency 30 years ago, people thought that's what it was. But it's everything. It's the full experience. And gosh, how important it is today.
Yeah, right. Especially today. What you stand for. When did you start writing the book? Because right now is the best time to release that book.
So we launched it. We started about a year and a half ago. It actually just went to the publisher of February, right before the pandemic hit. And so we're relaunching it. I guess it comes out maybe 45 days. But you can go find it, wdysf.com, and go ahead and sign up to grab one. Really excited about it. It's going to be available to everybody. The ebook's going to be available to everyone for free. And I'm just really excited about helping companies really define what they stand for, number one. But number two, the difference they make in the world. And I think there's about 100 examples of entrepreneurs of all different stages from all over the world, examples inside to really help people support them in discovering what they stand for. Really excited about it.
I bet you are. I mean, great timing on your part, by the way. But people hear, or at least I hear in a lot of different books, the example of Tom's, the shoe company. It's like for every one pair of shoes, they donate this. But that's one company out of hundreds of thousands of us that have small businesses, right? So it's kind of hard to think, how can I make a macro impact like those companies? And then it's like a little bit exhausting, it's aspirational, and then you tend to kind of like, I'm going to do my best. But that's okay to have a micro impact in your community. It doesn't need to be a world. In fact, most of us don't have kind of that wherewithal. So is your book also going to help small and medium-sized businesses figure out what they stand for? I'm guessing yes, right? And you're going to maybe find that inspiration that you've been looking for. A lot of people want to give back, but they don't know how or where to start.
God, Brett, you're so right, because a lot of companies, we actually talk about this in the Stand Up book too. And it's funny, the reason we wrote What Do You Stand For is because we launched Stand Out a couple of years ago, and it was such an incredible success. We sold out. But what was interesting was I realized, well, how do you stand out if you don't know what you stand for? So actually, the second book should have been the first book. But in terms of who the book is for anyone, whether you're a student looking to try to understand what you stand for and how that relates to what you want to do for the rest of your life, or you're an entrepreneur just starting a company and want to align, what you do with what you want to sell, or you're a company that's been around for a really long time and just really lost touch with what you stood for, why you started in the first place. The book is for you.
Interesting. So you wrote the prequel, essentially, to stand out.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the 8 fundamentals, or I should say, tell us a little bit about the 8 fundamentals.
I've been really frustrated as an agency for a really long time in that I think that agencies force companies to follow their own process. And really what it comes down to is we have to educate organizations and entrepreneurs to really understand what those elements are so that they can live them themselves. So 8 fundamentals, and you can check them out in the book. Purpose, reputation, visuality, which is what you mentioned before about color and how you look from the outside. Authenticity, the words you use and the messages that are really true and authentically you. Ideal leads. Ideal leads is all about having ideal leads that you nurture. We're very much about marketing with a magnet versus a sledgehammer. And we really don't believe everyone's your customer. Distinction, what your distinct advantage is, and then strategy, of course, having a one-page marketing plan and mindset. So I think most people rate very highly on mindset because they wouldn't be going through the process if they didn't want to achieve desired results. So those 8 fundamentals. Yeah. And so the book is broken down that way, Brett, and the activities are separated that way based on which fundamental you need to strengthen.
I love it. So not only the 8 fundamentals, but 30 activities to support those fundamentals. But as we exit, maybe, and I try to put people on the spot when I do this, but tell us, what's on the next frontier of branding, or what maybe one thing, if we're not doing as business owners or entrepreneurs, we're not paying attention to, we're going to get left behind, or just an opportunity that we may miss?
What's next for branding? A few things. I think number one, sustainability. So I'm sure everyone watching this episode has heard about B Corps and about really looking at how you can build a successful, profitable business that is founded with a sense of purpose. And I think it's really important as an owner of a company that we all understand that people look to us as thought leaders in the brands that we manage and the things that we sell. And so for leaders and companies and entrepreneurs to really be really clear what they stand for and how they stand out as a thought leader is going to be really critical in building community, which is another big trend when it comes to brands. So really excited to be on the forefront of a lot of that work and a lot of that research. And we'll definitely keep you posted on the work that we're doing surrounding those things.
Awesome. That would be great. And Winnie, I'll just to reiterate something, when you stand for something, inherently you also are standing against something else. Yeah. And that's okay, because you are attracting the kind of people that you want to work with and deal with and be around. You're repelling the people that you don't want to be around. So you're saving those people time too. And I think that's just, it's really important to be okay with who you are and what your brand stands for, so that everyone else gets it too, and you save everybody time.
Yeah, and I love, Brett, what you're doing with this show, because you're helping people learn from other people's stories. And I think collectively, I mean, how powerful is that? I absolutely love it, because I mean, people learn from other people, and I think that so many people are willing to share their knowledge, their expertise, and their experiences. And it's just, I mean, again, bringing back some of those EO, right, forum sharing best practices. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. So Winnie, thank you for joining us. Twin Engines, wish you guys the best of success. And again, when your book launch is official, let us know, and best of luck to you both.
We'll do that. Thanks, Brett.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.